Hello everyone, I'm Rob Smith of the Smith in the Black channel at Ticker Talker, and if it's Tuesday, it's the Strat Attack show, so let's load up the urban assault vehicle and see what we got. Unfortunately, what we got here is inside week for SPY. So, here. So what we're dealing with here is whenever you're coming into a Thursday and it's still an inside week, that's not a good sign, right? So even if we do get out, how far are we going to go? The thing is, we had this outside week, and then we poked down. So the hopes was we take this out and go blasting off. That's not what happened so far. And if you look at the daily, you're going to see this. Yuck. Here's that outside day, then inside day, and just stuck in this tight range. And so even if we get out of here, let's say we take this out, right, and go here, we get a little slower low on the higher high, internal broadening formation, if you will. We need to take that or that out to get anything significant, right? And people will be like, ooh, and all the other stuff like that. But until we can take that out or that out, right now, Chop Fest, anything that's inside week coming into a Thursday, obviously things can change, but we got to get out of there. If you go to QQQ, a little better. Qs take out the week, and the problem now is exhaustion risk, because anytime you're going into highs, nobody has anything to be short against, and so they ran out of steam this afternoon, and you can see this. So wouldn't surprise me to come down here and take this 2 out and come back down through a little of this stuff after all the runs we've seen. So we'll see, because you'll have Amazon still good, and you can see this still closed near the highs and still does have exhaustion risk, but you did have the inside week to the upside to give you that. So we'll see if that continues or not, because you had stuff like NVIDIA do it as well, but then here we back off. So whenever you see like these creepy ranges like this, we call it pivot machine gun. If you want to come back through that, because anybody who's long, when things go into some highs, they'll have their stops at obvious pivots and where they got in, and that's what we call it, the pivot machine gun. If anybody's in here and have a stop here, it can trigger them, them, and worse down into here. Not saying that's going to happen, but we want to be aware of that, because the two to the downside on the daily is closer to the downside, right? So a lot of these guys have been really gunning sharp, and we know what this thing's done. And look at this monthly, right? And look at this monthly, it's 300 up to 9. Uh-oh, 911. And so a tight range day, and it wouldn't surprise me to it's not the end of the world if we make a lower low. It's just the first one in a while, and if they all trigger at the same time, sometimes it gets a little worse. So we'll see. For volatility's sake, let's hope that happens. Spotify. And Spotify's had a nice run here too. Look at these monthlies. Some of these monthlies just woof. And today, in the week, still green on the week, so that's okay. It just, we're closer to taking out today's lows tomorrow for some more profit taking. And this was a real good one. Talked about it in the Strat Time report today. We had it on the gap list since it gapped up. And we watched it, called this out here. This is what we look for, right? Called this out on the chat room. Go up, shooter, hammer, counter, shooter on the 15, right there, right? And that's over 246.59, and it goes all the way up, doesn't make a lower low. And then in the Strat Time report, what I talked about is, when I say these exhaustion risk, when you're going into new highs, like all this kind of stuff, there's nothing for anybody to be short against. So the buyer's got to keep stepping up. And if you just blow out all the shorts, then all that's left is profit takers. And so if you'll see this on the 60 here. 2 up, the 2 down reversal right here, below 253.05, and this thing craters all the way back, and that could get worse. We could still take this out here, this 240.50, and maybe see these guys. So we'll see what comes tomorrow. Stuff like Adobe, all these monthlies just had monster runs, and like I said, the 2-2 down isn't the end of the world, but it's been a while to make some lower lows, and that could get interesting. TTD, another one. Just closer to coming back through a grindy range, and we've seen that more than a few times, right? So this could be good. We'll hope. W takes out a slight lower low, but once again, I mean, look at these runs, and on the weekly here now red. So we'll see if W can make any headway back through this stuff. Is what we were kind of hoping for tomorrow. If you're picking up on this, FSLY here. Another one that's had a monster run, and these monthlies. Because we're coming to the end of the month. We got a short week next week for 4th of July, and we've got coming up, and we've got the end of the quarter, right? So that's what's going to go on. So then we'll have new quarters and leads and all that. Because what that means is SPY is going to stay inside quarter. Pretty much for sure. Unless we go take that out, and I don't think we're going to do that. So these 3 months are going to be an inside quarter. Then we have to get out of that. And that's what we've been talking about ever since this happened. How are you going to get outside of this range? Qs did it. Then diamonds, nope, inside quarter. Small cappers, nope, inside quarter. So we got a boatload of inside quarters. And if we back off and take some of these things down, then we're going to be nowhere near taking out the top of the quarter or the bottom of the quarter. That's another problem. As you can see in a thing like here, when you get stuck as an inside week here, and then you get these ranges get worse on the daily. So too would that occur with a quarterly and monthly and all that kind of stuff. So let's hope that doesn't happen. If we go to NKLA, and this thing today goes inside week to the upside. Now, how are we going to get outside of this thing is the problem. So for the rest of the week, is next 2 days, if it's above 73.50, it's good to go, right? And keep trading it long. If it starts coming back into there, we got problems because we know we're probably going to have multiple weeks in here, if not the rest of time. So we'll see about that. And then that was nice. It broke it here on the inside 60. And you can see here we had this on the way up. Inside 60. Inside 60 breaks the week. And so that was some nice there, but we'll see if that holds up. I know, excuse me, and I know, well, this is a real cruiser today too. And you can see this multiple bar pattern here in the monthly. Now it's exhaustion risk as it goes into the highs, but is still jumping around plenty just for scalping and trading and all that kind of stuff. You hear the nice inside 5 here, boom. And this was really nice, and I won't do this before, but let's go through it again from the opening here. And if you see this here, it opens and comes in, so it tries to go 2-2 reversal on the 5er, but fails. You just cover, right? But when it does this, now this is potentially a multiple outside bar of this, right? And it was real nice. And then if you go to use a parabolic stop and reverse, I'll show you how this works, right? Because it's gunning, we know we want to be long this thing, right? Because of the month and the week and the day and the 60, everything's tearing it up, right? So what you can do here is, if you took this, there's a couple things you can do right out the chute, right? Up in here, you can just dump it as soon as it makes a lower low on the 5er, right? And then look for another entry. And so then when the PSR flips, so it'll stop it out here, right? And then it flips up to here. That tells you that we've had corrective activity to look for a signal back up, which was right here. Triangle out, and then 2-2, off she goes. And then you can just ride that PSIR. You don't have to worry about the lower low on the next round. And boom, you're gone, and then you can look for a reverse again. So all that kind of fun stuff. And if we go to, so you can see here, and once it goes up here, it flips up in here, you get something like this inside 5er. But we'll see. If we go to NVAX, so NVAX, get rid of the parabolic. NVAX doing this. Here, had that outside day Momo hammer and into the highs in this monthly here. Here. You can see it's been a lot higher, but here's your present broadening formation. It's completed that, right? By taking this out. Now you have your lower low, your higher high, your lower low, higher high. It's done that. Good thing is it's been a lot higher, and obviously tension in the air right now, and so you can stay on that with 30s and 60s and see what that gives you. Stalled out a little bit this afternoon, but that's all right. We'll see what it does. There's a nice 60 for you. On the downside right now, XLU, and when you hear me talk about these mother bar problems, these big bars they're not getting out of, yeah, XLU is another one of them, and you can see what it's doing to it, because that means it's consolidating, right? Can't get out of this thing at all, right? And so then you'll have your inside bar and your inside again, and what they'll do is they try and take it up, stop them out, not strong enough for this, and then fail back in. So here's your potentially top of a broadening formation, and then potentially come back through here and stop all this stuff out on the way back down, which would be nice. So if you start off with your daily, you're going to see this. This would have been a 3 bar if there was more time. So if we can take this out and be an outside bar of that, that would give us our compound 3, right? And then that would keep driving the month and making that worse. So we'll see how that goes with your NEEs and your Dominions. I believe is an inside day today. But you can see they're all going to look very similar when you look at the monthly chart. Dominion a little bit better, but still couldn't get out of the monthly. These still going to be an inside quarter, right? We've got gold, and gold's still hanging near the highs of the month, right? And that's good, right? And so with the GDX, just kind of went up yesterday and then just kind of sits here. But it is the Rev Strat week. Inside, then down, then up, right? And that's giving you GDX, J Nugget, all of them, I believe, and your FNV. So we'll see if gold can start moving again tomorrow. Maybe you can get a little bit more follow through to those things towards the end of the week here. We had Beyond the Meat. Beyond the Meat. Still an inside week, and we'll be aware of that. You're just running out of month. It's a slight exhaustion risk. Anytime you go into highs, you can see how these wicks show up. And so what was real nice about that was here, just the inside day break to the downside here. Like I talked about that pivot machine gunner. Inside day break here, and then boom, boom, boom. Took all these guys out in one shot. Not weak enough for this. So we'll see if there's any follow through or something like that. If you go to Ulta, Ulta goes inside day, and once again, on the downside, monthly potential outside month, right? Or compound outside month. And once again, still 3 months inside of this quarter, right? So we're going inside quarter almost for sure there. So we'll see if that can follow through at all. If we go to LHX, once again, almost going outside month, 1 bar Rev Strat of an inside quarter. And we talked about this in the weekend vid. You can see this here. These higher highs. Now the question is going to be weak enough to come down here and make the lower lows for the broadening formation, right? So far, so good, right? It looks like, whenever they go out on the lows, they look good to do that, but certainly something to keep an eye on. So, like I said, a lot of tight ranges, a lot of exhaustion risk coming into the end of the month and to end of the quarter, and a lot of inside quarters, and then coming into the new quarter, we want to see anything that can take those quarters out. And if we keep rallying here a little bit, most things are a lot closer to taking their quarters to the upside, right? However, you can see the utilities have a shot at it. It going quarter to the downside if we're going to have another pandemic wipeout, some similar to that. It's also new time frames that's important too. It's not whether we break the quarter or not, but come next month, that you got a new opening for a quarter, a month, a week, a day, and 60. And we saw the power of that when SPY did this. Here, this was the new quarter right there. And so that's something we definitely want to know about. A new month, a new quarter. So we'll see how that goes. Right now, closer to taking this out than that out on the next quarter. But we'll keep breaking it down week by week, day by day, hour by hour, month by month, and all that kind of fun stuff. That's going to do it for today. I'm Rob Smith, the Smith in the Black channel here at Ticker Talker with the Strat Attack Show.